Hello there YouTube, it's Musical Aviator here. We're going to drive a train today. Couple of things. Firstly, we have two different locomotive styles. We have a helper locomotive, two of them actually, that are parked up. We'll need to wake those up and bring them out of the stabling yards, push them into the back of the train that we're going to take up the hill, and then we're going to walk up to the front of the train and drive the train up the hill. Once we get to the top of the hill, we're going to walk back, take the back locomotives off the train, let the front of the train head on to wherever it's going, and we're going to take the rest of the train back down the hill where it came from. It's snowing here in... what state are we in? We're in Cumberland. Cumberland, USA, Maryland. That's our vehicles over there by the road. Coming over to the turntable. Just going to see where that's pointed, nowhere useful. So we want the train that is facing us to be the craft that comes out first. That one there. Cool, we'll lock that in place. Looking down the line, we need to take the train, or this locomotive at least, onto the turntable. Then we need to move the turntable across one track so that we're sitting on this one here. Let's go and start her up. Hello to everybody watching. It's about 9:30 AM here in Melbourne. Not sure if any Melbourneites are watching at the moment, given that they're probably all at work or school. Here's some lights. Over here, I'm not sure if the engine is running or not, so I'm going to go into the control start that engine. Probably need some of these switches on, including the fuel pump for instance, and the cab control computer, distributed power, cabin fan, lights, radio. Don't need the... actually, yeah, we do, because we're going to have another crew in here as we go up. They'll be working as a braking crew. And the window heaters obviously need to be on. Let's jump in. Over here we see that the engine is just starting up there. I believe we're on, so we can turn this switch in. Gauge lights, and since the engine has started already, I'll just double check that's happened. Yes, we can take the engine control into the run position instead of being on start, and we'll sit on down. The window's open. And we want to become our own lead locomotive, since there's only one here. So cut in lead, we'll change that up so it's cut in lead, and we'll release, actually we'll add some independent brake first, and then we'll take out the automatic brake. That should charge up some power there. Cool, so I got some air in the brakes. Take out the indie brake. Make some noise. Reverse her into forward. And we'll put some lights on so everyone can see us. And off we go. Yep, we're just rolling forward a bit. Turn that bell off. And we'll have to come to a stop just about where that little red hut is. With that done, we'll go to full handle off, go back into neutral. Just going to look outside, make sure we are where we need to be. I think we are. Cool. Turn the light off for a bit, otherwise we shine our lights inside the turntable. Yeah, let's head on down. Just make sure the back of the train has cleared. I think it has. Yep, definitely. These are pretty long locos. Okay, I'll sit on down, get that open. And we're moving one position. There it is. Lock that in. Close the door because it's rather cold out there. Heading back up. I'll leave that mid door open. Chuck those front lights back on. Go back into forward position. Take the brakes out. Brakes are charged up. Let's go out. And we'll stop right next to this tank. Very good. Automatic brake goes into handle off. Independent brake is off, and we go into neutral. Going to take out the wipers for a bit, and obviously we don't need the lights because we're not moving. And I'm going to go and close this door because we won't be needing that for a while, and jump out the back. Now, the good thing about this setup is the next train we won't need to move the turntable for. So I'll just head on down to this loco. It's another one of the same kind of loco. Now these two units are going to be used to push the train up from behind while we drive the front units. The front units are probably being prepared. Actually, I think the train is already partly out there. It's a manifest train, which means it's a bunch of different collections of carriages that came in from different locations, and we'll be taking the entire consist up over the mountains, Allegheny Mountains, and then we'll drop it off in Rockwood, where they probably starts to split them up. And I think it goes to Pennsylvania. Obviously, that's the state. Pittsburgh. Goes to Pittsburgh, and from Pittsburgh it will be split up into various different consist trains. Anyhow, we'll no, we don't need to sit down for the moment. We just need to turn these lights on. We're in start. We'll start the engine. Get these switches on. Radio, the fridge can be off. In fact, the radio doesn't need to be on in this unit, but we'll leave it on because we are moving it backwards for a while. Road crossing lights on for the moment. Window heaters on. Get the crosswalk lights in. There we go, the engine is starting up. We'll sit down for now. Nice. We're pretty much running. Need to cut in and become the lead locomotive of our own consist. That's done. That's sorted. Anything else that we need? Not yet. Going to go into engine control run. Everything on the back is sorted. We'll be reversing, so let's open that window up. Drop the automatic brake into nothing. A little bit of independent brake for the moment, and we're going to go into reverse position. I'm going to turn that off, turn that on. We're going backwards. Let's have a look back there. Quiet toot on the horn. Bell. All the brakes released, and off we go. There's no need to stop on the turntable today, on this particular one. So we'll just keep on pushing back until we couple up on the engine that we were in just before. Turntable is already in its locked position, so no need to move it. We'll just leave it where it is. Hello, 4 people watching. How you doing? Leave comments. I forgot to put my timer on. We'll start that timer. It's about a 4-hour trip. Brakes in. Cool, we are connected. What we'll do now is make this the back engine. So we can turn some of these lights off. We'll become cutout trail. Sorted. Which means we need to make this handle off, bail off, generator field off, and there's a few lights we can probably turn off as well. We'll leave the step lights on because we might be using the stairs. Don't need the number lights for now. And we can probably take the hood lights out as well. We'll leave the short hood lights on, they're the ones facing behind us. Cab fan, yeah, everything else is fine. We will eventually be back in this locomotive just to couple up to the back of the train, but for now we are heading in the other direction. Tailfun 26, hello, how you doing? I feel like the step lights aren't on this loco. Let's check that out. It is a beautiful loco. Gauge lights are in, step lights are on. Ah, there we are, the crosswalk lights. Goodo, everything is switched on in this loco, so we'll jump on. Hi there, Andre. It's quite a large train. It's about to get a lot larger we're going to be taking this train to back a 50-car consist up the hill. And then we'll be taking it back down here. Anyway, we go forward position, bail is off, brakes are released. Everyone knows we're about to move. And we don't have the big front light on. Now we do. Hi there, Chess. How you doing? Right to res, yes. Choo choo. Love a good train in the morning. Especially when it's snowing. Slightly. There's some slight snow as the sun rises. And we head through this nice little gap here. Just going to idle our way through. The funny thing about railways, you don't leave much gap on either side because you know exactly where the train is going to go. No steering required. Funny little, let's call it a feature of the sim, is each time you go into an outside view, the windscreen resets itself. So at the moment you can see some snow that's kind of stuck to the top there. But if you jump outside, jump back in, it's all gone. Yeah, we're going to try to not derail the train today because that would end the entire scenario. And it would just be ending the stream at that point. Let's slow down. We're speeding a little bit, 16 instead of 15, or 1 mile an hour over the limit. Back to 15. Now we're going to a holding pen where we'll sit there until 8 o'clock. There's a potential of another train coming through, and then we'll continue on through to the back of our own train. We will need to make a switch, so we might actually do that manually, stopping the train in front of the switch and then getting out. You don't like snow? Well, it's probably a bad time to be you. Because even here in Australia, we have the snow meme for Christmas. It's like Christmas equals snow, even though it's in Australia and like 40 degrees Celsius. 100 Fahrenheit. Andre loves snow. I get the snow. It's fun. I wouldn't like it if I actually had to deal with it in the winter, but you know, I don't. It's just a meme here in Australia. It's the middle of summer. We did once have snow in Melbourne on Christmas Day, which makes no sense at all because it was the middle of summer and it was 0 degrees. Welcome to Melbourne, where the weather is insane. Ratu likes throwing himself in the snow. Well, we sometimes have snow here in Australia. We do have the snowy mountains after all. Nice skiing area. Although that's in July, not in December. How does a train sneeze? Well, to see the story about how a train sneezes, see Thomas the Tank Engine. And I believe it was Henry that did the sneeze. Vaguely remember that story. There's our crossover point. We're going to sit on the left track and then just behind the tower there. Just going to slow down because we're still speeding. Get down to 10. Track ahead is clear. We are okay to move into the left side, then the left side again. 3 times on the left. These aren't controlled by tower. Oh, they can be, but you know. We need to move 1 to the left again. Yep, that's going. I've never conducted a real train. Ah. That one is set to the wrong side. We're going to come to a complete stop. Going to reverse ourselves just a little bit. Just to get off that point. Why am I going back and forwards? Are we clear of that track? I'm not sure. Let's have a look. We are clear of that track. Beautiful. Yeah, that's on the wrong side. Let's flip that over. And I'm going to drive up there because it's cold. Saying, maybe we should walk all the way. No, let's not do that. Okay, clearly we're going to use that door again. Go back into forward position. Is this pushing over to the left? I think it is. Good. Cool. We just need to stop in underneath the tower here on this cross track. Chuck the brakes on. And we'll probably have to wait here for about 5 minutes. Good thing is we'll be heading back in the other direction, so we can turn this carriage into the trailing loco. We'll cut that out into trail. Handle off on the brake. Release bail. Turn the generator field off. I'm going to turn this heater on, come on. Medium heat, sounds good. And banking comm. We'll need that on as we go back up the hill. So I've turned it on for now, so we don't necessarily have to come back here. And so it's up here, the number lights, they can go off. This is the back of the train now. And I think everything else is set up for the big track. So once we're back on the other side of the train here, we'll end up with some brake guys coming out here. Basically they'll be manning this thing, the telephone and the emergency brake. But that's the last we need to see of this until we head back down the hill in about 2 hours from now. Well, an hour and a half. Still very early in the morning. 8 o'clock in the morning, it's actually not that bad. Anyhow, turning the number light on, and let's jump in. No, you can't murder. That's bad. Don't murder people. Besides, we're not encountering people today, we're carrying freight. You can derail your train, of course. By going too fast around points, slamming yourself into the back of other trains, all that kind of fun. And there will be other trains around, but the scenario ends if you crash, basically. If your train ends up off the rails, you get a little thing on the screen saying you've derailed, bye bye, end of the game. and then you'll be looking at that. Anyway, reverser into forward. We'll make breakers release, and we've got the independent on. Want the front lights in. And we're just waiting for the dispatch controllers to give us the clearance to go. That's then up in their little tower up there. According to the schedule, that'll be in about 3 minutes. So until that happens, we just sit here, going nowhere. Let's review our map. When we do get released, we're going to come out of here. We go straight ahead there. And there. Then we're going to collect the train, that train right there. We're going to stick ourselves at the back of that train there. Once that happens, we'll just make sure that the entire train is ready to be an assisting engine on its way up the hill. So the locomotive behind us has its banking comm on, so it's the driving engine. Oh, I just realised I've left one switch out of position in that back engine, so I'll have to go back there once we do attach to the train. That's alright, we've got plenty of time. It's like half an hour. Oh, that's weird, yeah. We need to be in this configuration to move this carriage forward, but then we have to switch it. That's confusing. I have to think about that one. We could make this the lead engine. That could work. Jethro Tull locomotive breath. Intriguing. No rock music. Censoring music is silly. Okay, service Cumberland Creek, Ebbets Creek crossover. Let's go. We're in forward position, all our brakes are off. I don't have my thing on. Is that what's going on? No, I do have it. Okay, let's try that again. Why am I not getting power? Power is idle, but I wasn't getting any. That is in run. Can't see any reason why that wouldn't be the case. We're in forward position. Just not getting any traction effort. Why not? Just gonna go back again. See what's going on here. We can't hear on YouTube either, whereas here on YouTube we get copyright striked. You're in neutral over here? Just checking. We're not. We're in neutral now. That would explain it. We're pulling the train in both directions at the same time. Here we go, going forward now. Not having the train try to pull us in opposite directions. We'll clearly have to go back to the front of the train to figure out what's going on. I'm pretty sure that I did set it up correctly, but then those two rando brakemen decided to jump on board too. So I'm thinking they've knocked me into forward power over there. Should be going, I think, straight? Yes. Cool. Okay, the banking comm is off here. We'll need to make sure it's on back there. We'll do the whole setup, that's all cool. Bunch of box cars over there on the cutout bowl. Basically, it's a collection of trains that have come in from Baltimore, Washington DC, anywhere out on the coastline, in that kind of area. All arrived here. They're being shunted around and popped together by random shunters, probably 2 or 3 trains, maybe even more than that. So each group of cars is going to maybe a different place, carrying different products. But it'll be inefficient to send out like a 3-car train, especially when we have to go over these mountains. Like you have about 4 or 5 different freight railways entering Cumberland, and then only one line goes over the top of the Alleghenies. And then it all spreads out again once you end up west of the hills. You get places like Pittsburgh, Chicago, Cleveland, Indianapolis. It's got bits of train going everywhere. But at the moment, there's only one track, so we'll collect all the cars together. So we only need like 4 locomotives to take them over. Instead of 10, we might have like trains going to 5 or 6 different locations. It's what they call the manifest train, or the junk train. Random junk. Unlike that train next to us, which is the coal train. That'll be going up to the coal mine and bring in back 5,000 tonne of coal. This is like more than 5,000 tonne worth of random crap that random companies on. Okay, coming up, we'll do a nice and slow. There we are, we're connected. Let's turn these lights off because we won't need them. Let's turn ourselves into a cutout trail. And to finish that, we need to chuck that into the handle off position. Independent brake is off. Generator field is off. Don't need the heater on anymore because no one's going to be in here, which means we don't need these lights on anymore either. including that one. Definitely don't need the number lights on, because with middle carriage, so it's not like anyone can see them anyway. And we are a middle unit. Let's jump out. As I said, we have to fix up what those clowns in the brake van decided to break. Without this setup, the helper locomotives won't be helping, which means we won't be going up the hill very fast at all. Hey there, brake person, how you doing? Gonna jump in here. That's in neutral, that's in off, that's in release, that's in idle. Up here the braking column is now on. We're a trail cutout, and that needs to be on. There we go. Now we go for a long walk. Yep, those trains are over. Let's talk about our train and all the carriages that are on it. So here we have two grain cars. I'm guessing someone's making bread. So it'll be wheat grain or something similar to that. Here we have some box cars. Anything could be in there. Probably not intermodal stuff, but I'm thinking refrigerated goods, random stacks of stuff, wood, mostly processed goods, partly processed. These things are pretty obvious. That's oil, gas, or diesel fuel. More grain. It's pretty much going to be collections of that. Some of it will be going off to Chicago, some of it will be going off to Pittsburgh, or actually the entire train as a consist is going to Pittsburgh, and then it'll be split up into its component parts. Some of it will end up in Chicago, some of it in, I don't know, Indianapolis, Cleveland, anywhere out west there. Maybe even Canada, Toronto, that kind of thing. Although Toronto will probably be going up north via Buffalo. Nice and peaceful here in the snow, away from the engines. Soft pad of feet stepping through snow. Just got the call there that the brake person has arrived on the back train. That didn't give us the... this is going to be a problem. We'll see how we go. Might have to pick up this scenario from the front of the train once we get in there. Just realised. That would be annoying. First time I practiced this scenario, you switched scenarios as you parked the train. If the consist is wrong, then it won't let you take the train up the hill. Pretty sure the consist is correct. It's possible that the back of the train didn't go through its tagged position, which might be an issue. We'll see how we go when we get up here. There is a way to fix this. Yep, we are a very long train, 50 cars. Hope you've been counting. Because I didn't. I just took it. Yeah, we're going to be walking all the way back at some point. Yeah. Because we're going to be taking those 2 locomotives back down the hill to here. Because they're not going all the way to Pittsburgh. They're just there to get this entire consist over the top of the hill. Once it's at the top of the hill, we don't need it anymore. So walk through the back? No, that's fine. Up we go. So this is the new locomotive, or the old locomotive. It's the add-on that you buy. Let's jump in. And we have a problem. The back of the consist didn't get through its consist area. So we'll have to do it the other way, which is annoying. Actually, let's start the train up because the thing doesn't do that. Get some of these lights on. Engine run. Control on. Generator on. All of those are in. Engine control is on run. Short light on. Don't need the long hood light. These are on. Coming down here, turn some of these on. Up there we'll need the banking comm. And it'll sit on in. And the rest we should do in the new scenario because the old scenario didn't release properly. So I'll do that now. Main menu, quit the game. Explore timetable, make it snowy. Pick up this scenario, so 8:33, that one. We've also skipped a few minutes, so probably helped us in the long run. So the brake cutout valve goes into freight position. Going to release that slightly down to about 50. Put some independent brake on. Turn that on and gauge lights. We need some heater. Make sure that short hood light is on. Come down here, turn that on as well. And forward power. That's the thing I want to do. And we're moving very slowly, but we are moving. That bell can go off for now. I think we forgot to put the banking comm on. There it is, on. And we're moving properly now. There we go. Come up to stage 5. I think we're still a little bit on the brake. It's pulling us back. Speed 999. So it's a 15-mile-an-hour zone until we get over these points. As you can tell, there's quite a lot of weight there. The train doesn't really want to start moving. Once it is moving, it's not too bad. Just want to keep it moving. Don't want to stop. Because stopping takes a long time. Getting moving again takes a long time. So back to idle. All of that inertia that we've pushed into the back of the train is now pushing us along quite happily. 10 mile an hour through the points, below 15. And we'll just stay at 15 mile an hour until we get all the way through Cumberland. After that, we can accelerate to 25 and head up the hill. Some parts of this trip will be allowed to do 50 miles an hour. Apparently the guys that use these locomotives call this a -8. It's a C40-8W. These locomotives were built by GE, General Electric. Same guys that make the engines and, 7478s and stuff. This particular build of locomotive was manufactured from 1989 through to 1994. This is an older locomotive. Certainly older than the other ones that we're using just before. Those are fairly new. They're essentially the successor of this style of loco. You can see up in the corner here, this little paddle that's flapping backwards and forwards. That's attached to the windscreen wipers, and if you really wanted to, you could grab that with your hand and move the windscreen wipers back and forth manually. In fact, I'll show you how that works. We'll park the windscreen wipers in the middle, and if you wanted to, you could just grab this one on its own and do that. It's pretty funny. Coming back to idle power, otherwise we'll be speeding. We already are speeding a little bit, so I'm just going to chuck in a little bit of brake. We're going to be coming up on some road crossings soon, so I just need to watch out for the road crossing signs. Procedure is, as you approach the road crossing, you blast your horn, long, long, short, long, and then hammer down on the horn until you pass the crossing. Obviously on this particular style of locomotive, as you press the horn, the bell starts, and you keep the bell going until you pass the crossing. Down here in Cumberland, the crossings are controlled, which means they have boom gates and flashing lights and stuff. Further up in the mountains, not so much. Up the mountains you may find some uncontrolled crossing, which is essentially a road that crosses the railway, and there's no boom gates, there's no flashing lights. The only flashing lights are the ones that you're carrying on the train. On these particular locomotives at least, when you press the horn, the bell goes off automatically and the flashing lights flash automatically. Some of the earlier trains don't have those features. Oddly, the new trains don't have the bell attached to the horn, so if you want the bell going, you press the bell and then your horn. So yeah, it's a good 45 minutes up the hill, another 45 minutes back, and we get to park the train somewhere. That's a crossing, but it's not ours. It's just a footpath, really. There's a bridge. Obviously not a crossing there. Brakes are released. Hey there, Mr. Brakeman. How you doing? There's a crossing. Bells off. So on our gauge cluster we have the speedo in the white. This thing here with the red, yellow and green is essentially how much power we're putting into the wheels. Obviously you want to be inside the green most of the time unless you're in reverse, in which case you're in that yellow. Also that yellow is dynamic braking. Not that we'll be using it because we're going up the hill. Red means you're probably going to be wheel slipping. Looking straight ahead we have a white light, which means we are crossing over. Over here we have the AFM indicator, which shows braking essentially. How much air is in the brakes. At the moment the brakes are fully off, so the air is neutral. You can be sucking in air or blowing through air. And these are showing independent brake and the auto brake for the train. How much air is actually in them right now. Currently in their off position, no brakes applied. We'll be crossing over to the right side of the road, as the Americans like to drive. So we've just come out of those yards where they stable all the trains, and now I'm moving out into the main line. Jeez, he came up pretty quick. I thought he was about to crash into our side. So these are whistle posts. Each time you pass one of these, it's time to do this. also in the 25 zone, so we can actually accelerate now. One more road up ahead, just underneath the bridge. And that's all. Maintain 25 up the hill. Still dragging the back of the train through that point. There's a whistle post for the other direction. Be at 35 soon. Yeah, you can start to feel the train going up the hill. It's losing a bit of the speed there, so we're going to add a bit more power. That's a lot of train. There's the back. So in the 35 zone now. We'll settle at that. In about 2 miles we'll be at 50 zone. So now we're just looking out for these whistle signs. That's not one, that's just a post. to do. Nice and snowy. Good to be out in the open road. Nice and simple. Just keep driving. Is that a school bus? I believe it is. Look at that. Well, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, so I guess that's heading off to school. School probably starts in 10 minutes. Feeling like that's a little late, but it's probably just going up here. Whistle. Hope they're not trying to cross the railway here, because if they are, they're going to be late. Oh no, we've got another one going the other way, so it's probably just up there. Indeed. Thanks, John. It's actually a relatively cold day here in Melbourne today. It's about 16 degrees. Although here in Maryland it looks to be minus something or other. What is the temperature in Cumberland? Yeah, it's not too bad. They're at 7 right now, -1 overnight. That's in Celsius, not Fahrenheit. What Hindman is doing, because Hindman is where we're off to. Hindman. Yeah, it's relatively cold, 3. It's not snowing, so. Missed one. Should be looking at the road instead of the weather forecast, eh? Hi there, Ivor. Yeah, the good old land plane. Mightn't go as fast as your normal aeroplane, but it certainly carries more stuff. Didn't check how much we're actually carrying. Maybe I should have, but could well be into the... That's obviously thousands of tons. I know the coal train, which only requires 2 locomotives, that takes 5,000 tons up this hill, down the hill. But yeah, we could well be in excess of 5,000 ton. Might say what it is on the consist load here. Is it yeah, 5,391 tons. That's a long tons. And I've got a 184 ton helper on the back. Got a 50 zone, so it can actually accelerate pretty well. And another one. Whistle post. Clearly uncontrolled. Passing through 45 miles an hour. On the way to 50. Some rando dude's house. Cool, we're at 50. We're going to settle into that. Another whistle post. And another. That's a short road, small road. Don't even think that was sealed. We're on a dirt road, covered in snow. Little bridge. Yeah, we're in Pennsylvania already. Ellerslie was the border. Interestingly, the border goes straight through the middle of the town of Ellerslie. So we're now in Pennsylvania. Some on the Mason-Dixon line. Haven't interfaced with the Mason-Dixon highway yet, but well, I don't think we actually get there. The rest of the train will pass it, but we'll be going back down the hill before we get to that. Essentially, we just assist this hill to the top, which is the summit of the Allegheny Mountains pass. It's just past the second tunnel, the big tunnel, the so-called Sandpatch. Sandpatch, which is what this add-on is named after. It's just after Glencoe. There's a tunnel at Glencoe. Past Glencoe, quite a fair way past Glencoe. That car was waiting for us, very nice of it. I'd say very nice of it not to crash and destroy itself in the front of our train. There's a siding over there. Getting pretty aggressive with that power. All of these are uncontrolled crossings, so they're just basically roads that cross the railway. Barely a fence to be seen. It's quite different to driving the underground train, isn't it? You don't need to stop much. Hello there, Darren. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Just as I was mentioning the underground train, the Bakerloo line. Still got a few other scenarios I'd like to try with the Bakerloo, particularly the closing of day. We put the train back into the yards. We kind of touched on that last week, but yeah, I think the next time we'll take it up to the London Road. Either that or the Stonebridge Park. One of those. I think this is Ellerslie, isn't it? So we're actually in Maryland before. No, this is Hyman. Okay, cool. Fair enough. Need to slow down here. There's a 25 approaching, so I'm going to go into idle. That one's a controlled crossing, so not too bad. There's a coal train coming down the hill. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, so that's probably the one coming out of Shaw. No, that'll be the Rockman line. There's two coal mines up here. There's the Shaw mine and the Rockman. I think the Shaw coal train is behind us still. Okay. Okay, we're in a 25 zone because of these curves are starting to get a bit tighter. Okay, still need a bit more power to get up to the 25. Just making sure my brakes are released, they are. Okay, the hill got steeper. So although we've backed off on the speed, we actually need more power to get up the hill. Didn't even use any brakes to slow down. I just lost 25 miles an hour by the power of gravity, really. Gravity slowed us down. And this is why we need 4 locomotives on this train, because 5,500 tons doesn't go up the hill very well. Yeah, speed's pretty stable. This is in Pennsylvania, past Hindman, heading up towards Glencoe, on the way between, say, Washington DC and Pittsburgh. The Allegheny Mountains, the mountain pass, is where we are right now. Closing in on a place called Fairhope, which is a tiny little speck of a town. Basically, the idea is that this is a consist train, which means that they take various trains from different locations, most likely Philadelphia, Washington and Baltimore. 3 different trains have come into the one place. They connect them all up, put locomotives on both ends, and then push it up over the mountain pass. They'll eventually end up in Pittsburgh, where they'll be sorted into 4 or 5 different trains and head out all over the place. Cleveland, Columbus, Ohio, Detroit, Chicago, Indianapolis. It's possible that some of these carriages are actually going to Pittsburgh, but most of them will be leaving the train after Pittsburgh. We, of course, are not taking the train all the way to Pittsburgh. We're actually driving the locomotives that are pushing this train up the hill. So once we get to the top of this hill, the summit of the Allegheny, we'll jump out of this locomotive, head down to the back, and drive our own locomotives back down the hill. Because they get stabled at Cumberland in Maryland. So, United States of Yank America. Almost on the Mason-Dixon line. In fact, I think we just passed the Mason-Dixon. Now that's a mountain pass that I like to see. Look at that, nice little gorge drop off into the river. Fair Hope just down there somewhere. Oh, there it is. Look at that. A random house. Yeah, that's Fair Hope there. How you doing, little random house? I was a question of how do you get to that house? Who knows? You swim across the river? There's the back of our train right over there. Yeah, they are missing out. They do freight trains pretty well. They don't do commuter trains much at all. It is a rather large country though. It's a little bit like Australia. If Australia had more cities and more people in it. The Australian population is like the population of one of the United States' smaller states spread out over the entire country. So although it looks like we have commuter railways in every capital city, we only have, 6 of those. Besides, there's this kind of cultural thing in America of being independent, so that's why they're like the king of the car. Why catch a train when you can drive your own car wherever you want to go, whenever you want it to go? Just jump in your own car and drive anywhere you want to go, anytime you want to go. No waiting for other people. Whereas here in Australia, having the car is more of a, economy of scale. if your entire town only has 100 people living in it, it's not like a train is going to be coming through every once in a while. Maybe once a week. You can't live on that kind of timetable. Instead of running freight is quite fun, especially through these like out in the middle of nowhere areas. Yeah, it is pretty chill letting someone else drive. I do enjoy that idea. But here in Australia, I'd rather jump in an aeroplane and make it take an hour instead of a day. There's even between rather very close cities of Sydney and Melbourne. It's an hour flight. It's a 10-hour drive. And unfortunately our trains only go as fast as our cars. 110, maybe 130 kilometers an hour. Not like those German trains where they do like 250 kilometers an hour. And politicians always talk about building a train between Sydney and Melbourne, but they've been talking about it for 50 years and nothing's happened yet. So we're stuck with the XPT, and that's 110 k's an hour. Oh, look at that, I've driven 100 miles in this kind of C40-8. Is that a whistle post? It is. It is a whistle post. Hello, Infant Flight. Hope you're well. What time is it over there in Perth land? 8 AM, something like that. Speaking of large bits of Australia, Perth, 3 hours time zone difference away. No internal domestic flights. Are you talking COVID stuff, or are you talking the lack of Flybe airlines? I'm sure there are still trains between, say, for instance, what was one of the weird routes? Newcastle to New whatever it is, down the like Penzance area. New Key. Is that the one? Yeah, New Key. So I'm pretty sure there used to be a flight between Newcastle and New Key. There's just one that I saw ages ago and I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool flight. That said, who knows? COVID, that was pre-COVID, that was like 2019. That's when Flybe Airlines existed. Flying Dash 8s all around the place. Birmingham to, you know, Southampton or whatever. That kind of thing. Faster than road or rail, also bankrupt. Yeah, you guys don't like your major city thing, do you? Don't know why. It's like, yeah, Manchester to London. Ages and ages ago, there was like British Airways flying 737-300s on that route, but hasn't been since 737-300s haven't been a thing. Which is, yeah, about 10 years or so. Same thing with the Dutch. Dutch used to have a great flight between Groningen and Rotterdam, but that's not a thing anymore. Same kind of time frame as well. To be fair, that flight wasn't really sellable. I didn't think they had cabotage rights to fly that flight, so it was essentially just a triangle route: Canary Islands, Groningen, Rotterdam, back to Canaries. The only way you could be on that flight if you're going to Rotterdam. That's right. Anyhow, the brief for this journey is after we drive this train all the way to the top of the hill, we'll be getting into the back. Behind us there's two carriages that are also pushing or banking the train, because we're over 5,000 tons of train, and we'll be taking those bankers back down to Cumberland. What happened to Fly Pelican? Are they not still around? Yeah, they're still around. They fly the Jetstream 32. Mostly out of Newcastle here in New South Wales, Sydney. And to Sydney, Newcastle, a couple of other places. That's the thing with the COVID problem. It kind of affected international and interstate airlines more than it affected the smaller airlines. So QantasLink, Rex, and Pelican, Sharp, etc., generally did better than Virgin, Tiger, Jetstar, that kind of thing. I've seen it around for 2 months. Intriguing. Well, maybe they're having issues. There's a whistle post. Apparently, Fly Pelican and Virgin Australia are announcing a lounge partnership 2 days ago. So they're apparently doing some kind of deals with Virgin Australia. We'll be driving that last locomotive back down the hill in about an hour from now. In a shark cage. I didn't know we had any shark cages here in Melbourne. Ah, you're talking about Avalon? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, that little funny place at the tug we always used to have. Used to be the freight handling area, and they turned it into a passenger processing area. It's hilarious. Yeah, I get it. Good old Tiger Airways. The cheapest airline in Australia. That's an auto rack train. They put cars in those to bring them across. So I'm not sure if that's an empty one coming back or if it's full of like American exports. It's coming out of Detroit. Of course it's full of cars. I would not say the GTX 1660 is great. I would say it's pretty less than average. If you put a 2 in front of that, GTX 26, then I'd say yeah, but 16, not really. It's a bit weak. Funny thing with buying a PC is you don't want to be buying new parts every year. So best to save up for a whole bunch and then just get something that works straight away. Knock off a little bit of speed there. There we go, we'll pick that back up. Good old hill. It's caught us again, flat-footed. Yeah, the 2060 is a good card. Gonna go to full power just to get us back up to 25. $10.50s are pretty old now. Remember when they were new about 10 years ago? Where's this crossing? There it is. So this is an uncontrolled crossing here. No boom gates, no lights. That's the sign. Guess not much traffic either. Indeed. $9.80. That's going back. I had a $9.70 back in 2012. So 10 years ago. Well, 9. It's 2012 or 2013, one of those years. Anyway, it was a long time ago. Not good in a day. And you could always play, FSX or whatever. kind of worked on that. I still have that card actually on my second PC. I have two PCs running side by side. One's pumping bits down into the stream, and the other one is just so that I can watch my own stream and what's going on there. I could conceivably put them on the same PC on two different screens, but you know, why do that when you have another PC sitting there with a 970 card on it? Yeah, I built that in 2011, then I upgraded it in 2013. Ugh, just got hit by that branch. Another whistle. You're up here somewhere. That's a bunch of train. Oh, I like those spots. That's pretty cool. Let's get up this rock or something. That'll be down here. coming up on the little township of Mats in just a little bit. Still in the 25 zone. Cool. But what can it run P3D at? Or more to the point, Microsoft Flights in 2020. So I find Train Sim runs at stupidly high FPS for me. It's like 120 something or other. It's when you get it into Microsoft Flight Simulator that it drops down to like 20. Ah, we've got a yellow. So we've got yellow over green, which means at some point we'll be going off into a siding, which is correct because we need to take the back of the train off. Hawking up to a 30 zone. After that we'll be in a tunnel. Once we pop out of the tunnel on the other side, we essentially have to start slowing down. Especially when you see there'll be a summit sign that says this is the summit of the Allegheny Mountains. And at that point, downhill into the siding, we'll come to a stop and we'll detach from the back. When do I think I'll be flying again? I don't know yet. Maybe Christmas, maybe New Year. Might see if we can do a night flight New Year. That'd be funny. Yeah, this train sim game runs pretty well even on your decade-old PC. Or an Xbox. I think even the PS3 runs this. So yeah, Darren, have a nice night. Hope you enjoyed. Here's the tunnel. Just before you enter the tunnel, we'll see a 30 zone. There it is. Turn those wipers off because we won't need it in the tunnel. toot the horn as we come out the top of the tunnel. Should be at 30, we're at 35, I'm going to reduce that speed a little. Now the funny thing with this scenario is once we get to the back of the train and disconnect it, the people in the brake van will start driving the train back through the tunnel. But we should be ending up stopping at a red signal at the exchange points, and we'll take over the train from there. The AI drivers are a little bit silly and weird. It's running into idle, we're at 35. We've got yellow on red, so I do need to slow down now. Come down to about 20. Let's release that. Ended up wheel slipping. There's the top of the hill. Getting hard to see out the front, so I better turn them back on. And need to pop off onto the left side of this stabling area. We are running slightly downhill, quite slippery tracks, very heavy train. So just keep everything nice and slow. Just adding a little bit of train brake, so every carriage is adding a little bit of braking pressure there. Coming at about 15. Don't want to slap the brakes on too hard, otherwise the train will slip on its wheels. It'll slide down the railway like a skier on ice skates or something. We're currently in the stabling siding, so yeah. Basically you want to stop the train so that the back end of the train is in the stabling sidling properly. So I can stop here for a few minutes. There'll be another train coming through while we're swapping ends. Might be two trains coming through actually. There's a coal train going northbound and the other train going south. I think the other one's an intermodal train. As meant to cross us. Intermodal is basically, you know, shipping containers on a train. Those shipping containers can go on a ship or on a truck, semi-trailer. On semi-trailers they usually go in ones, like a single truck for a single container. Whereas on a train, of course, you can carry like 1,000 of the things. Okay, I'll be stopping at that post coming up. And we are stopped. We go into neutral. Going to go to handle off. I think I'll leave everything else as it is. Sanders are not on. And I'll see you guys, well, later. Bye for now. Yeah, I'll leave the train as it is. They'll be heading off later. I think we'll go this side because it's more interesting. Hello, Thomas Spankerker. How's your spam today? Is it spamming along well, spam? I spammably think it is. One thing I like about the word spam is it rhymes very well with the word ban. Anyhow, walking through the snow again, up to the back of the train. We could run. I just want to check something on the map. Yeah, it's okay. Oh, the other train's not here yet. It's not cool. There it is. This train. We're waiting for that train to pass us. Given it's doing about 30 miles an hour and we're doing walking pace, I think it'll make the distance. I don't want to give it to the AI control yet, because otherwise they'll just start the train again and leave me behind. I'll be sitting there going, guys, don't want to walk back to Cumberland. That's cool. Yeah, the old train line behind a supermarket store. Here at Broadmeadows, we're not quite that close, but yeah, I've seen that line up before. There's a good shopping centre here in Melbourne. What's the name of the place again? It's not High Point. It's the one at West, Airport West. That's the one. There's a train line that passes right behind Airport West, Westfields. It's a rather large shopping centre here in Melbourne. Airport West, which is directly south of Melbourne Airport. That's why they call it Airport West. Wrong airport. It's named Airport West because it's directly west of Essendon, which was the airport back in the day. No, I won't be doing another stream today. Today's Wednesday. I have work. Might be doing something on the weekend though. We've got a Friday night ops in Hawaii. So I think 717 out of Honolulu down to one of the other Hawaiian airports on Saturday morning. Sounds like a good idea. And on Sunday I'll be, out. Alright, the strategy is we disconnect the locomotives from the train here, then we jump on board and make sure that the back is ready to go. What usually happens here is the guys in that locomotive at the front there, they'll start driving on down. So a couple are disconnected, I'll jump on board. And there we go. Oh, what the heck? Okay, I sat down on the seat and then I fell through the floor. That was interesting. Let's replay service, see what that comes up with. Wrong. Let's get another one. Let's do the... I literally fell through the floor of the train. That's insane. Timetable. We're going to go on to precipitation. Yeah. Snow full. Cloud full. And with a helper return. Which one is it? It was 11 something, wasn't it? It was 11 something, yeah? That one. Okay. With any luck, we don't fall through the floor this time. The train we were just on has magically disappeared. And it's one of these trains now. Interesting. Just got to make sure everything is set up, ready to go. That should be off here. It is. That's in cutout. Handlers off, and we don't have any lights on the back there. Warning devices are off. Let's jump out. Gotta set up all those save points, because otherwise we would have had to end the situation right there. Window heats are on, fridge is on, and everything else is good over there. That goes on, gauge of lights, heat. And we'll cut in our brakes. Full power on the independent brake. And take it out of the emergency brake. Wait for that to charge up. Lights on. Is there anyone coming down the hill? That's a pity. Coming off the brake, we are versa forward. Blast the horn a couple times. There we're going. Now, since we've got nothing on the back of this train, just two locomotives running down, we won't need much power, and brakes will be quite effective with nothing on us. So you may remember last time we did the coal train going down the hill, the same hill, no snow. The coal train required pretty much all of the braking power application just to, you know, almost slow down. At some points we were like at 100% braking power with the dynamic brake in, and it was just maintaining speed. That won't happen this time. Anyway, we want to be at 20 miles an hour, which we are now. There's that summit. And we've switched over to the correct side of the tracks. Down the hill we go. It's rather quiet when you have the windows all shut. Go a little faster than that. Probably halt that increase because we've just started heading down the hill again, so we're speeding up through the power of gravity. It's going to sit on minimum reduction. Even that's too much, I think. Yeah. Might go independent brake just a little bit, maybe like 5%. A little more, 12%. Bit more, about 20%. Too much, 15. That's right. Apparently we're in a 40 zone. Cool, 20% brake should get us there now. Only things were that steady. Anyhow, we'll leave it at this now. See how we go. So, this little tiny consists of 2 locomotives. We'll continue on down the hill. Pretty much back to where we started. Not to the turntables, but, you know, into the yard. You could probably take it to the turntables if we really wanted to, but apparently they'll be using these locomotives as helpers again from another train. Not with us driving it. But that's the idea of the scenario. You take the helper locos back down to Cumberland, and sometime in the afternoon another crew will take it back up the hill, much like we just did. You could probably shut it down all the way, turn the engines off at least. Our first crossing as a double consist. Now we're accelerating, that's getting that minimum reduction. So both trains can help us out in the braking. I'll swap over from a single engine to both engines. Yeah, it's too much again. This will be constantly juggling because we don't have much inertia anymore with all of that 5,000 tons. We've gone from 5,000 ton consist of 5,300 tons down to about 180. 360. Yeah, 360 tons on the way down instead of 5,000. Bit of a difference. It's not about inertia pushing us all the way down the hill. I'm not sure it'll be 1.5 hours. It's going to be more like 1. Still happy with a 40 mile an hour on the way down. It's doing pretty good. I do like the sound of a louder horn with the window open. I'll leave it like that. Stop playing with the horn. .50 zone. Going to release all the brakes and just let it coast on through the power of gravity. Yeah, to keep an eye on that speed because it is tending to just run away a little bit. Okay, it's currently a 50 zone and the next one ahead is 35. Just going to grab a bit of a bicky to eat. Keep monitoring. 44. I think the hill flattens out for a little while, then it steepens again. About 1 mile from now. Min reduction. Nah, it's plenty. Indeed, the old drink driving. V driving. We're in a 35 zone. Speaking of bad things to do, speeding. The one grace we do have, of course, is that this train's got barely anything on it, so just a bit of train brake will get us down. Ooh, we're needing a little bit more braking than power than before. That's good. Alright, 32, 30. Happy with that speed, right on limit. Where is this crossing? Here. I think that's the Hindman Creek. Could be wrong about that. I do know it eventually flows into the Potomac River. Creeks on this side flow into the Potomac, and creeks on the other side of the hill eventually go all the way to the Mississippi. How are you doing, Michael Smith? Fun driving through the snow. Quite picturesque. Should go for a drive one day up to Snowies when it's snowing. I'll make an effort to do that next July. Assuming we're not stuck in our homes again. I do see that the government of Victoria, the state where I live, has declared that from midnight tonight, the 15th of December 2021, that we have exited a state of emergency and entered a state of pandemic. Because apparently, unbeknownst to all of us, there is this thing that's happening around the world called the coronavirus. It's new. So they decided to declare it from midnight tonight, 15th of December 2021, that Victoria is entering a state of pandemic. Just in case you didn't know. Might not have noticed over the last 2 years that we've been locked down for 10 months. Just in case you think I'm joking, which you would, because 2020, 2021, December 2021, we're talking about first pandemic declaration. Yeah, it's never happened before. New. From the 15th of December 2021 at midnight today. So in about 12 hours from now. Just in case you didn't notice, there's a thing called the coronavirus. Now we need to add some braking power. The good thing about carrying a train down the hill, like 5,000 tons or whatever, is because it's so long, some of the train is on the steeper part while some of the train is on the less steep part, and it kind of averages out. So you just kind of like set a level of braking and you can keep it there for like 10-20 minutes without changing speed. Whereas when you're 2 carriages long and only weigh 300 ton, then every little undulation in the hill changes your speed. So you're constantly riding the brakes on and off. It's its own little challenge, really. Bringing a full train down is a challenge because you just don't have enough braking power to get away with speeding up too much. Whereas this one's a challenge because you have to keep on adjusting the brake pressure all the time. Well, it's midday here in Melbs. It's time to warm up a bit here. The Bauer 25, yeah, good old ground train. We're at flight level 0. Only need my hand on the brake. It's not like I'm going to be using throttle anytime soon. I need to use the horn. Slowly recovering. I had a bit of a mouth injury last week. Cracked a tooth and ended up with a kind of like a wound inside my cheek, and it's been a bit painful to play the trumpet for a week. Slowly recovering. Went to the dentist, got my tooth checked out and fixed up last Thursday. But that little flesh wound in the inside of my cheek has still been niggling at me for the last week. Still a little bit there, but it's markedly improving. I have to build up some more muscle strength back into my embouchure again. Yes, descending from flight level 000. It's time to get out the shovel. Today's Wednesday. We get paid tonight. Looking forward to having some money. I think this is second last pay before Christmas. No, it's the last pay before Christmas. Alright, second last pay of the year. I'm going away early next year for a little while, for a week. Imagine that, getting out of my state, having a holiday. I've got it says 60 mile an hour in a little while. I think it's actually 50. It's just the game being silly. Could be 55. We'll do 55 on the way down. That's a whistle post there. Some radar boosters over there. That's fun. I wish we could carry these things along. That'd be great. It does seem that they're not active anymore. They're not actually connected to the rails. They're on their own little piece of rail. Oh well. This has got a medical symbol on it. Are they using this thing as like a nursing station or something? Strange. We're in a 50 zone. We're in an 80 zone. What? We are in an 80 zone. The locomotives themselves don't go more than 70. So we'll take the brakes off. And we'll go as fast as this thing can go. 70 miles an hour. Maybe 60. Keep it safe. See how fast that looks. Yeah, it's plenty fast. If we're in a Cessna 172 right now, we could actually take off. Rotate. Of course, the Cessna 172 only weighs about 1.5 tons, even fully loaded. As this weighs about 185 tons. This thing weighs more than a 737. Empty. But still. 737 carries 188 people on it. This thing carries 3. That seat, and that seat. 3 people. Of course, it can also carry 5,000 tons of cargo. No plane can do that. Seven 747's maximum takeoff weight is about 500 ton. Meanwhile, 4 of these locomotives just carried 5,000 tons up that hill. In a mile, we need to be at 55, and we'll slow it down now. And another. And another. That's all of them. We're pretty much flat at the moment. Cool, at 55, we'll maintain this speed. And we got another 70 zone, so we'll just accelerate. 60 zone, sorry. Less than an hour to go. Lots of cars up there. Intriguing. So we're doing 60 and we can accelerate up to 75. Yeah, let's go. Full power. See how fast this thing will go. We'll clear it up to top speed of the locomotive, which is 75. No, 70. We're in yellow. Just back it off a little. And there's a sign that's telling us to slow down to 40. I believe that's Hindman. $45. There's our speed sign at 40. 40 miles an hour. Ding. That's not a bad little spot. Little road right next to the railway there. Let's have a look from here. The sun's certainly rising, and it looks like the clouds are thinning out as well, so it will probably stop snowing soon. Turn into a rather pleasant day. Speed zone change 35. Bit bumpy there. Release the Indy. Rather cold in that river. Creek. It's rather shallow as well. Reminds me of the Yarra River up in the northern part past Warburton. It's kind of cold. Got its own little concrete channel from here on down. Flood mitigation procedures for the river. I've got a yellow. This is Cumberland. We're in Maryland again. Lots of horn blasting as we come through all these crossings. Red on yellow. I believe we're crossing somewhere. Not sure if it's the next one, but at some point we're going to be turning left. '15 zone. Oh, it's literally where we came from. Exactly the same track. Another whistle post. That bit's done. I think we've cleared all the crossings. Now we just have yard traffic to deal with. So not a bad little journey. Got about another 10 minutes of it left or so. Up the train with 5,000 tons and back with 300. Worked up the trains pretty successfully. Took them out to the yard, popped them onto the back of the train, walked all the way up the train. Had to respawn the scenario because it didn't trigger the fact that we'd attached the train to the train. But that wasn't too bad. Only cost us a couple of seconds. Headed up the mountain. Did a very similar thing. Jumped out of the front carriages, walked all the way to the back of the train, got on the train, disconnected the train, fell through the floor of the train, had to restart the scenario again. Wasn't expecting that one. Never seen that one happen before. Yeah, and we've driven all the way back down. And looking at that time up there, 11:56, we should be back for lunch. Hello Spam Mabel Spam. How's your spam going? I do the following things with spam. Bye bye. You are no longer spam. What we do with spam is we ban the spam. Bye. Random sewerage pipe. Just to slow down to 15 to cross through all these points. Going straight on. There's the afternoon coal train all ready to go. You may remember us taking that train when it was summer up to the top of the hill into the Shore mine, filling it up and bringing it back. Might have to do that again one of these days. That's a nice little journey, that one. 50 coal cars. This to our left is another Manifest train, just like the one that we were on. It's like it's being pulled by some SD40s. Likely waiting for a helper, could even be these particular locomotives about to make another trip. Let's see where I have to go. Ah, they want us to go backwards. Okay. Sure. No. Straight ahead. That's fine. 300 yards. We're on the right track. This is the switching bowl yard. Any carriages that have come off with any faults or aren't meant to be here end up sticking in front of that shed there. That over there is a shunter pair of SD38s, I think. Nah, one of them is SD40. I can see the control tower up ahead. I think we park it just in front of there. There's oil cars and a bunch of grain cars over there. Anyway, that's for someone else to deal with. We'll be off shift once we park this pair of locomotives. If you remember way back into the beginning of this stream, we had this pair of locos sitting underneath that tower. I think they want us to park it right there. Let's see. Yep, we are going there. Exactly the same spot. Very nice. And now they want us at the Hopper Yard track. Where's that? I think we're going back. Okay then, that's cool. So we go into handle off, Indy off. We're going to become the trail. Yep, that's done. Down here we take this out. Go into neutral. Won't need those wipers anymore, and we can turn the front lights off. Turn the number lights off. And we'll head into the other loco to drive that forwards. Okay, we become the freight. Gonna go into independent brake, take out that brake. Down here we want to be generator. Forward motion, brakes off. Let them know we're coming. Brakes are off, yeah? Cool. And I do believe we might need to stop, make sure that we're going in the right direction. We're not. As far as I can tell. Yeah, that's straight ahead there. Cool. Straight ahead, and the next one is turned. Let's keep going. Just realised we don't have our number light on. That's sorted. There you go, someone else. Oh, it's a single engine. That's funny. And we need to stop here. Yeah, we're in the wrong spot. That's an auto rack train. Okay, going to neutral. Brakes are on. Yep, that's right. Okay, brakes are off. Reverser is forward. Shouldn't be far to go now. I think we're parking in this area. So, this right here actually. On this very track. There we are. Let's have a look at what the rails are doing. Yeah, we just leave it here. Cool. We'll shut it down, cut out. Brakes off, handle off, and Indy is off. Leave the running lights in, fuel pump. Everything else is fine. Cool. Get out the back. Well, that's the end of that shift. We'll leave those locomotives ready for the next shift, which I believe is going to be here in about 45 minutes to take that on to the back of another train. Let's head up to the shed. There's a nice little crew room up here. Well, once we're over here at the crew room, we will be ending the stream. Hope you've enjoyed watching the trek up the Allegheny Mountains here in Maryland. Hi there, I was playing the beginning of Filler by, what's the name? Geo, something or other. One of the very first operas written in about 1595-ish, 1590s. Gabrielli, that's one, not Gabrielli. Monteverdi, that's the one. Anyway, there's our crew room. Gonna pop over there. Oh yeah, 1590s is okay, and no Americans have got their ugly little hands on it. That's an Italian piece of music. So yeah, Italians don't go nuts over their copyrights of pieces of music that are over 500 years old. There's another helper pair just driving on past. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the stream. I have been Musical Aviator. Probably see you on Friday Night Ops. Bye for now. Oh, that just did a reverse. Nice.